Starting recording now. So we will focus now on how to approach a problem from the point of view of innovation. And it's very important to understand the context. We are all from Romania. I think most of us here are from Romania, or we are studying in Romania. And we see what is that Romania has and what Romania needs. So first of all, Romania has major healthcare needs. And it's not a surprise that Romania is one of the last positions in terms of healthcare, quality of healthcare. On the other side, Romania is one of the main providers of doctors in Europe. So we have a lot of doctors that have studied in Romania and now they are practicing. It's an estimation of 2 years ago was that we have 15,000 doctors in Europe. What Romania needs more and focused research. Romania needs healthcare startups, and Romania needs external reference points like EITHealth. A mindset which started sometimes like almost 10 years ago is actually reframing the way that healthcare is happening. And I have this guide, which is called Eric Topol. I don't know if anybody has heard about him. He wrote 3 books so far. Unfortunately, none of these books has been translated in Romanian. And he's talking about the creative destruction of medicine, the fact that the patient will see you now, and this is happening more and more. And the deep medicine, one of the ideas that was mentioned was AI, using AI as a tool. It's about using artificial intelligence to actually regain humanity in healthcare. And it might be far-fetched, but it's actually quite possible with the tools that we have right now. But before going into this, I will just like to remind you a small story. Sterilization story is the story of Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis. He was implementing cleaning in the maternity ward in Vienna. He was cleaning hands with chlorine, and he reduced the mortality in the ward. Keep this in mind, this was sometimes around 1845, where there was the mortality up to 18% mortality for just giving birth. This was Vienna in middle of 19th century. He reduced the mortality from 18% to 2.2%, which is basically reduced 10 times the mortality. He wrote his colleagues from major cities. Unfortunately, those colleagues wrote back and they said that he was unreasonable, and he moved to Budapest. He did the same results and he was declared insane. Currently, you might be aware that the University of Medicine and Pharmacy in Budapest is called Ignaz Semmelweis because he had a major impact in terms of healthcare in Hungary. His theory was later confirmed by Pasteur and Lister, but unfortunately, he was not acknowledged during his lifetime. So we are now in the context of a change, of major change. The major change is basically the digitalization. And in this context, the digitalization is only one of the things that happen right now in healthcare. You might have heard about being things that are deceptive, things that are apparently small, but suddenly become very big. Like, for example, telemedicine. Telemedicine was something very small, but due to the pandemics, it became really important and really widely used. About disruption, you might have heard about disruption. Disruption simply means that the patient is able to solve his own problems without going to the doctor. And if you go into the pharmacy, you see many options for this. Demonetization. Demonetization means that many things, especially the information, are no longer expensive and hidden, are free and widely available. And democratized means more people have access to more tools and have access to more information to better handle their health. In this context, you can always keep in mind that your phone can be a very strong healthcare tool. So, what's the story about this? 20 years ago, at Stanford. By the way, Stanford is the place where Google started. Google started about the same period of time. Was founded this program called Stanford Biodesign. It was made of 12 people divided in 3 teams, which was spending 10 months in hospital with a strategic therapeutic area focus. Stanford is one of the best universities in the world, not only in medicine, but also in business, in tech, in many other fields, one of the top universities, and they decided they want to foster healthcare innovation. And how did they do it? And this is the model that everybody is looking that it is working right now. They built this biodesign team. And it's very important to have in a team several skills. Like, for example, the medical skill, and this can be also scientific, the technical skill, which can be also somebody that actually can build a solution, not necessarily the IT guys, but somebody that actually can build a process and that can explain it. The business, somebody which can actually sell the result. It has been, in many situations, a major problem of people in the medical field not understanding that it takes a special amount of money and of resources to solve a problem. In theory, everything in healthcare should be free and widely available. However, this is not practically possible, because if you do not create some context and some boundaries, you will get very naturally and humanly to abuse. So there needs to be a person which will handle the numbers in the team. And it's a person that will also be able to sell the result and sell the project to anybody interested. Somebody that will support it, somebody that wants to collaborate, or somebody that can actually invest in it. And also, more and more, it's about having somebody with a design background. With a design, not necessarily to build something that looks well, but to build something that is relevant for the user. I'm using to say all the time, especially if you have an iPhone. I don't know how many of you have an iPhone. The iPhone comes with a very, very limited user manual because design is so well embedded in the device that a user manual is no longer necessary. Actually, some guys were saying that if you need a user manual, it is not built well enough. So this process is very interesting because in many situations, it's people will come forward with an idea. And this is also the way that you came today. I have an idea. I want to do something that will be useful, and we will use it, and you must pay attention to it. The process of Stanford Biodesign, and this is the process that I'm also wanting to share with you and encourage you to think about it, is the way it's to start with the needs. The needs are essential in order to understand how is the idea or the solution that you might propose solving them. Because if you have a solution and your needs are not clear, people will say, okay, nice, and that's it. And it will be a waste of time. I'm sorry to say this, it will be a waste of your time and a waste of your efforts. So challenge also for tomorrow, and this is the way the mentors will challenge you, and this is the way that you should challenge yourself. What is the problem? What is the need? Who has this problem? How can I help that person to solve her or his problem? And then you come with the idea, and then you come with something called implementation, actually having a strategy and an integration. You will see that needs finding and needs screening and needs defining, it's very, very critical. And we have seen many projects failing for a very good reason. Problem was not clearly defined, and then the value proposition was not clearly stated. It's a longer process. You find the link here, biodesign.stanford.edu. A large amount of it is freely available. There are steps coming from the strategic focus about who you are and why do you want to solve the problem, what are the problems, what are the current solutions, how is your solution better. One of the ideas that was presented today said there are no actually apps like this. Absolutely, it might be true. However, the people that have that problem are solving their problem in other ways, because there is always WhatsApp to answer telemedicine, for example, issues and consultations. And people are trying to solve their problems in different ways. Like, for example, we are using Discord. There are other tools that we could use, for example, Slack, but we believe that Discord is better fitted for our needs. So it's a longer process. It might be too much for you this time to dive into it, but keep this in mind: Biodesign, Stanford.edu. So this is the context where Fresh Blood appeared. Fresh Blood is a project that was started 5 years ago. I'm one of the founders. The other guy that founded it is an IT guy. He's working in many, many projects. And it is an educational and support community. And our belief is that people that are in the system have a limited ability to try something new, to innovate. So innovation will come from somebody that has no links or no ties, and especially has no depth towards the system. And we believe that an educational program, this is an educational program that you are participating right now. An educational program is a tool for you to grow and actually to learn and solve problems. Our job, very simple. We are focusing on strengthening the community. We are focusing on fostering healthcare innovation. We are focusing on building projects and partnerships. And we started 5 years ago, and now we see the results of our investment and the results of our activity. We are collaborating with universities, and here are the Cluj universities and the Cluj IT clusters, our partners. But what is even more important is the fact that everybody is interested now in healthcare innovation, especially, for example, Technical University. You are here now, part of Babeș-Bolyai University, but there are people coming from all over the country, and in each and every university, I see more and more projects that are aiming to deal with innovation, and healthcare innovation is top of the list. So how do you innovate in healthcare? There are a few steps. I will go through every step in the following slides. But to keep this in mind, first of all, you need to understand the problem and the opportunity. And I cannot tell enough that you need to focus at 50% on the problem. Understand the problem. Then you need to understand the competitive landscape. Basically, who else is trying to solve the problem, or who else is not trying to solve the problem, and why. Then you are defining a mission, and then you are tying the vision to the action, and you are projecting yourself, you as a leader and you as a team, as part of the solution. What you have to get right to succeed, you need to understand how your team will actually solve the problem. And it might be very important to use, for example, this evening, to know your team and to understand what is their connection with the field, because you might have very positive surprises, very pleasant surprises. Then you need to understand that action is better than just words. You need to have a plan. You also need to have something called a revenue model. Who is going to pay for your project? And last but not least, there needs to be a communication that will include the call to action, and that will extend your vision and your team vision. So let's go into some details here. Problem, need, it's an opportunity. Why is it important? It's very delicate, especially in the child care or in the child cancer care. Apparently, there are not so many cases. So the general population, on the general medical population, yeah, but there are not so many problems. Actually, as the Mrs. Dunn said, it's very important because if you identify them early, treatment is very successful. So one hint from our side is there are so many people that actually have survived cancer, and they could have survived this maybe better. Another question, where is there a gap or an unmet need? I would say that coronavirus did a big service to us, actually showing us the gaps, showing where things are not working, showing where the things are not functioning the way that they should or the way that they could. What is the scale? In many situations, it might be a problem that goes beyond your focus. Okay, we are focusing on child cancer care, but it might be applied in many other fields. What are the contributing factors? What are the main causes? Why is this happening like this? Is it usually, it's not about the money. And it's always, that's the easy answer and that's the lazy answer, saying we don't have enough money, we need more money, bring us more money. No, let's understand what is actually the problem, because once again, if we spend money to build things that are useless, it's a waste of money, of your time, and of your focus. Landscape understanding, that's also something very important. And you can do a lot through your documenting. What other approaches have been tried? What are the gaps? What are the opportunities? What have been the experience of other services provider? Who is trying to solve the same problem? Have they succeeded? Is it going well? Is it going bad? What is distinctive about your approach and organization? Sometimes you might have a better solution than a major players. And it's okay to dare and to build something that is better than something it's currently used. Another question, how much money flows into your issue? And annually from all sources, how is it distributed? Where is the money coming from? Where is the money going? Who is making money from this problem solving? And who is losing money if this problem is solved? And how will you capture existing money or attract new resources? For example, as a hint, cancer treatment is very expensive in many, many cases. So if you are helping somebody actually treat properly the cancer patient, it might be interesting for the company to support your project because it is also financially in their interest. This does not mean to sell your solution. This means actually helping the people make money and giving you a part of this money. At the same time, doing real good. And we will get to a solution. Question, who are the beneficiaries or customers and how will you serve them? What specifically does your program look like? What partnerships or collaboration could be critical or useful? On what premises did you build your solution? With whom and how, if have you tested your solution? It's probably too early today. Although I have seen in previous hackathons people that have tested their mock-up of solution in half a day. And they were able to actually provide feedback from some people, which is incredible. Team. As I said, we are glad that you have everybody's in a team. There will be probably tomorrow people coming and joining we will build another team. It's important to have a proper team composition. It's important to have some skills. And also, I encourage you to spend the evening, the next few tens of minutes or maybe hours, to understand what are the skills of your team. Because people have skills that maybe are not so much known, or they have passion, or they have an interest into something that might be useful for the project. And once again, remember what I said earlier. It's important to have a balanced team. And if you don't have necessarily balanced people in terms of specialty, you might have balanced roles. So people that can actually solve the problem from different angles. So you might have, for example, a psychology student taking a business leadership. Why? Because She comes from an entrepreneur family and she knows how to sell because she sold in the shop of their parents. And do believe me, once you begin to sell, you understand the world from a different place. And very important, it's important to have a mission. Say what your aim is and what you want from your audience, the people you are addressing to. You will present your project and you will ask from the people something. You will ask their support, you will ask their acceptance. Maybe you can even ask them to get involved. You never know who might be interested in your project. It's important for you to decide what you want for this project, even if it's a small pet, very incipient project. It's important to know what you want to do with it and how you plan to grow it. This being said, it's just a presentation. I'm going to stop now. And I will invite you to ask questions. It may be questions in Romanian, questions in English. I'm happy to answer them all. And please, you can write on the chat the questions. You can unmute yourself and ask questions directly as you wish. I'm here in the next half an hour to answer your questions. No questions? Probably too much to handle. If you have no questions, we will thank you. Thank you for the... Well, I have a question. What's the biggest challenge an innovator can have? Well, that's a very hard question. The biggest challenge is are the others, I think. Especially in Romania, people don't like too much the innovators, or they like when they come. They like Elon Musk, but they don't like somebody that will innovate and actually will change their life. People are afraid of change. People are risk adverse, and the others will try to discourage you. I'm not taking people here because here we are people that care about the innovation and we want to innovate. But once you get out of here, which is a protected environment, say, many people will say, what? You have nothing better to do. You should get a job. Your parents would say, you should get a job. It's much better to have a job. Indeed, it's good to have a job. But if you can do much more than your job, then it's, I would say, it's not, I would not say a waste of time, but it's a job will slow you down. Or I would say a job that will not develop you will slow you down. So I would say that the biggest challenge is how to deal with the people. And there is a whole book about this, talking to people about innovation. And another challenge in healthcare is that everybody lies to you. It's a Dr. House. Probably you're familiar with the movie. He says that everybody lies, and it is the truth. Unfortunately, everybody lies because everybody is telling you whatever he thinks that you want to hear, or whatever he or she thinks that it will protect her and make him or her feel well. This is why, for example, everybody is talking about eating, I would say, nutritious, healthy food. And you see the line at McDonald's and at KFC, and you see the number of customers in a healthy or natural products shop. Think about it all the time. And the consumption of butter, of oil, of sugar. People say one thing and they declare the other. And it's very difficult to help when they are not honest with themselves. Thank you for the questions. Other questions?
about what you just said. I think like people know that it's bad, but the society we live in the society we live in, it's hard to maintain yourself and try to be on the line like how would you like to be.
Let me share with you a tough perspective. You know everybody the news from 5 o'clock. Știrile de la ora 5 on Pro TV.
Yeah.
What is the news about? Let's switch to Romanian, it will go faster. Despre ce sunt știrile de la ora 5?
Crime, chestii genul
Chestii
ăsta,
nașpa.
Sumbri.
Hai să vă schimb un pic perspectiva. Știrile de la ora 5 sunt despre oamenii care se uită la Pro TV la ora 5 și pentru care știrile alea sunt știri bune despre ei. Pentru că ei n-au fost într-o crimă, ei n-au trecut printr-un accident de mașină, ei n-au avut problemele pe care le văd la televizor. Ca atare, alea sunt știri pozitive. Pentru cei care se uită la televizor. Foarte interesant, atenție! Este un pic mindfuck aici. I agree. Dar așa funcționează lumea.
Da, e ceva picanterie în viața lor, nu știu.
Le dă reason to live.
Da, să mai vadă știre, da. Aveți dreptate.
Atenție, și mai ales persoanele peste o anumită vârstă care nu ies din casă, își fac un scop în a vedea și a comenta acele știri. Wow, uite, ai văzut ce s-a întâmplat cu ăla? Ce e relevant? De fapt, nu e despre ăla, e despre mine. Eu știu ce s-a întâmplat și mie mi-e bine. A fost un film, când erați voi mici sau nu erați pe lumea asta, care se numea Și bogații plâng. Așa se numea. Expre. Ca să explice omului sărac care se uita la televizor că de fapt bogații plâng. Deci ca atare nu e nicio șmecherie să fii bogat. Că dacă plâng, e fix echivalentul știrilor de la ora 5.
Așa este.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have another question. What is your favorite innovative project initiative? Also more of an administrative question. How the dynamics go tomorrow? My favorite project is the project that is moving, the project that is progressing. I will not judge. I'm not a jury in this session. I have my own opinions, but I will let the jury decide because they have much more expertise than I do. So all the projects are good. I have a friend who is an investor. He said all the projects are good and deserve to be listened. Because a project might not be, I would say, totally finished, but it might contain an idea that is worth listening for. So that's the way it is working. So I like the projects that progress, and I like the projects that start, for example, in hackathons like this, and they move and they become actually projects that solve problems. It's about solving problems. Life is about solving problems. It's in school you have easier problems. In life you have complex problems. I like the joke a lot, which said like this: in school, first you learn the lesson and then you solve the problem. In life, first you solve the problem or you fail and then you learn the lesson. It's that way around. Naomi, you wanted to say something?
Yes, about the dynamics for tomorrow. Later today, we will post on Discord the next steps. So now we have the teams. All the members are set in one team, and you will have time until tomorrow. So also this night you have time to work on your projects. And the next steps will be posted on the Discord at the announcements channel.
Yeah, and we will start the morning tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We'll have a presentation on the pitching. Some of you might be interested. Ideally, there should be one person from each team, the person which is presenting from 9 o'clock. We will have a presentation. We will record it and put it online. If you don't wake up, that's okay. Then from 10 o'clock, you will have mentors. Before that, you will be able to choose the mentors. You will review the list and you will be able to choose the mentoring slots. And at the same time, we will be here answering different questions, maybe doing some recommendations, maybe doing some guidance. You will have the time to work on your project until 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, we need to receive the PowerPoints that you will use during the final presentation. And at 5, we will have the project presentation. We encourage you, we will put some links to see, for you to see how this is happening, how this is, what means pitching for those of you that never did it. We'll put some links on the Discord. And you have any other questions, we are available on the Discord as well. Any other questions? Naomi, anything else to add?
No, so you can also contact us on Discord, and we will answer if you have questions after we end this call.
I have a question.
Yes.
If we have an idea and after this project we want to go for it, what would be financing sources?
Wow. There are plenty of financing sources if the team and the idea is good. Don't worry, we have. I will just share just a web page with you. I have something here, and we have. So we are talking about healthcare. One moment. So let me share with you. I will end the recording.